And there's Hunleff. So as you can see, really not too bad once you get the hang of it. And let's see what we get from this one. Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Hello everyone, how is it going? My name is The Real Evan Nem. Today I'm going to show you my no-nonsense guide to beating your first gauntlet. Hopefully you'll be able to optimize your strategy so you can get your first regular gauntlet completion as well as eventually completing the corrupted gauntlet. I'm showing some live background footage so you can get an example throughout the video. First things first, the only hard requirements for the gauntlet are completion of Song of the Elves, but I recommend at least 80 in each of the combat styles for the regular gauntlet. If you want to attempt the corrupted gauntlet, I would recommend 90 if you're still learning, but you can definitely get by with much less as I have. And for both of these, you'll want 77 prayer for the access to augury, piety, and rigor. There are two sections of the gauntlet, the preparation phase and then the final boss fight, Hunleff. You will need 4 things to find in the gauntlet before you can successfully take on Hunleff. The first thing you will need is at least 2 weapons to bring into the boss fight. You can create any tier 1 weapon with some crystal shards and a weapon frame, and from there it can be upgraded to tier 2 with more shards, and then finally tier 3 with the special item drop from the demi-bosses. These demi-bosses can be found on the outside ring of the gauntlet. There's going to be 3 of them corresponding to each of the 3 attack styles and weapons you can upgrade. The dragons drop the upgrade piece for the staff, the bear drops the upgrade piece for the halberd, and the dark beast drops the upgrade piece for the bow. Second, you will need some armor to reduce the damage taken from the monsters inside the gauntlet as well as from Hunleff himself. Now this is technically entirely optional, but taking the few extra minutes to gear up will help out a lot while learning. You will need 3 of each of the following resources in order to make tier 1 armor. You can get more to upgrade each piece further, but in general you shouldn't need anything more than tier 1, as that time can be spent getting more food and more powerful weapons. Crystal ore can be mined with the pickaxe, friend bark can be chopped with the axe, and linium, or the cloth, can be picked without any tools. Grab each of those and some crystal shards and your armor is complete. You should be able to find all of these in the first few rooms. You will need to take some food into the boss fight as well, as even if you're praying correctly, you can still take damage through prayer. Paddlefish are the solution. They can be found in pools of 4 and fish the crystal harpoon you're given at the start, and they're also fairly common drops from monsters. As you're learning, try to get as much food as you can in your inventory. If you have 2 potions, 1 weapon, you can fit 25. And lastly, you'll need some potions for the fight, as you will almost always be praying major range and your combat prayers. Engile potions restore prayer and act as a stamina while restoring run energy. These are made by crafting vials from crystal shards at the singing bowl, filling them with water at the pump, adding germ leaves as a primary, and using a pestle and mortar on crystal shards to create crushed crystal shards as a secondary. I recommend at least 2 potions for attempting the regular gauntlet and 3 for attempting the corrupted gauntlet for the first time. I found it helped me while learning to break the gauntlet into 2 sections. One shorter run where all you focus on is gathering resources, some food, and crafting your first weapon. This can almost always be done near the starting room. Once that is done, you can equip all of your armor you can make, drop food, unnecessary tools and equipment, and head to the outer section to get the last resources you need and farm your demi-boss drops. Once you have enough food, have grabbed any resources you are missing, and have 1 or 2 weapon pieces, use your teleport crystal to return to the starting room and gear up for the fight. I usually set up my inventory with 2 potions, my weapon switch, and at least half of the rest of my inventory as food. There's almost always enough time to fill it to 100% if you need to. Now here comes the reason we've been doing all of this preparation. Hunleff is a very tricky boss, and is at least on par with Vorkath and Zulrah for difficulty. I'll break up the Hunleff fight as well into 4 categories: his attacks, his prayers, the floor, and the tornadoes. First is attacks. Hunleff always attacks with range starting out, so pray range as you enter the fight. Every 4 attacks, he will switch from range to mage and then back, repeating until he's dead. This switch is identifiable by an animation where he stomps the ground and some sparks fly around him. On his magic phase, he can throw out a loud attack that will disable your prayers. He can also stomp the ground with unblockable attack if you're running underneath him, similar to Corporeal Beast. Avoid standing underneath it whenever possible. Secondly, you will quickly notice Hunleff himself has protection prayers up at all times. This is why we have 2 weapons. Attack with whatever he is not praying against, but keep in mind he will switch his prayer after every 6 normal attacks you hit on him. Not necessarily an attack, but equally important is the ground tiles that change color throughout the duration of the fight. The tiles will glow blue for a few seconds before turning orange. Once orange, they will cause damage every single tick, and can quickly KO you if you forget to move. The tiles are constantly changing, so be watching your position and know where you can run. The tiles will rotate faster in the second half of the fight, so you will only have a few seconds to move before damage starts. The final piece of the Hunleff fight, and arguably the most infuriating, is the tornado attack Hunleff throws out every few attack phases. He will spawn 1 to 3 tornadoes depending on how much health he has left. These tornadoes seek you out and will cause rapid damage if you do not move away from them. This can create a lot of chaos when combined with the tiles, so if you're struggling, my best advice is to avoid DPS and solely focus on avoiding his attacks. And that is 100% everything I think you need to know in one video for how to take on the Gauntlet. If you already have some completions that feel good enough to take on the Corrupted, congratulations, everything I just told you above will apply. The preparation time for the Corrupted Gauntlet has been reduced from 10 minutes to 7 minutes and 30 seconds, as well as all of the monsters, including Hunleff inside the Corrupted Gauntlet, will be stronger offensively. Hunleff itself has 1000 hit points instead of 600, and there is always an extra tornado from Hunleff's special attack. This will lead to a much longer Hunleff fight, so mastering the mechanics of the regular Gauntlet, as well as bringing more food and potions, will be required. I have some last minute tips as well that I used to help complete the Gauntlet quicker and more efficiently, which eventually led to me getting my first Corrupted KC. The Crystal Mace that you start with is a very slow weapon and does not have great stats. You may consider it more beneficial to switch off of it and attack all of the monsters in the beginning barehanded. The bow and the staff are very convenient for attacking from a distance, which lets you avoid some bad tile phases and during tornadoes. You may find the halberd has better DPS for you, but I personally recommend the bow and staff if you're struggling with tile positioning. Once you're proficient, you can really use whatever you want, but I found that the best DPS is with the bow and the halberd. I found that 2 potions for the regular Gauntlet and 3 potions for the Corrupted give me plenty enough starting out. If you want to make the most of your inventory, try creating 3 potions, decanting them into 2 4-dose potions, and then topping up with prayer with the last dose before the fight. This effectively gives you an extra 2 doses if you find you're running out, while keeping the same amount of food. And my last tip is for the tornadoes, which again are arguably the most difficult part of the final fight. The 3 or 4 tornadoes you can get also stack onto one tile occasionally, which makes them incredibly deadly. For this reason, I would avoid the tornadoes like the plague at the end. The 3 to 4 tornadoes stacked up can kill you in 1 or 2 ticks, so if necessary, I recommend running under Hunleff or across a short stretch of tiles to avoid them as a last resort. And that is everything I think you should need to know to complete the Gauntlet. Quickly, I'll just go over the rewards for each boss kill. The rewards for each completion are some of the best in the game for how quickly you can complete the Gauntlet and for absolutely no supply cost. Each reward chest gives a large amount of rune items, gems, arrows, and runes, as well as crystal shards, but there's also the chance of some uniques, being the crystal weapon and armor seeds, the blade of Saildor, which is currently 100 mil, and the Hunleff pet. The Corrupted's rewards chest gives extra loot, and a better chance at each of these uniques. Good luck on completing the Gauntlet. If you have enjoyed this video or have any other suggestions for no-nonsense guides I can make, leave a like and a comment. It would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more of my content and get notified in the future, a subscription would be greatly appreciated. I also stream weekly on Twitch if you want to discuss anything I've talked about in these videos at twitch.tv/realevanm. Until then, happy scaping. And since you've made it this far, I'll just throw in this last little blooper. Rip my toe. And the staff are very convenient for attacking Hunleff from a distance, which lets you avoid some bad tile